Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group meeting. It's October 6th, 2023. Hopefully everybody can hear me out there. Let's see here. Get the next slide. Our agenda this morning, we'll start out with success stories. I've not heard of any landings, but maybe somebody's got some good news to share today. We'll then go to our 30-second introductions. We'll go to our committee reports here about the practice interview team, the interview success workshop, the career tip of the week, and then we'll have our main event, which today happens to be open forum, and we'll do that at the top of the hour. For those people on Zoom, if you have any questions throughout the presentation, well, we're just gonna allow people to unmute your mic and ask. But if you do have any questions or comments, you can put them in the chat window. For those watching on Facebook, if you have any comments, put them in the comment field. We are monitoring that feed. We'll be sure to get those questions answered for you. Please note this event is being recorded and is currently live on Facebook. The recording will be on the Career DFW Facebook page and the Career USA YouTube channel for others to view in the future. By participating in this event, you give consent for your name and picture to appear. Please note that any comments you put in the Zoom chat window will not appear in the recording. Well, good morning, everybody. My name is Jeff Morris. Back in 2007, I took over facilitating and leading the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group. This group's been around since the late 1990s. I took it over when the prior person who was leading the group landed a job. In 2008, I saw a need and created a website called careerdfw.org, something to help unemployed in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. In 2012, I launched a second website, careerusa.org, to help those around the United States. I have written a book called What I've Learned About Your Job Search That You May Not Know. It is available on Amazon, or if you see me in person, I always have copies with me. And since 2017, I've been a member of the practice interview team, and you'll hear more about that in just a moment. Well, we like to start the meeting off with good news. Do we have any landings out there that people want to report?
I got one.
Yes, please.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jesus. Let me turn on my camera here. And I would like to share with all that I got a job this like a couple of weeks ago, and I want to say big thank to Jeff and to Walter. Thank you very much for that interview tips and preparation. And yeah, I'm being very happy. It's a SOC analyst, cybersecurity SOC number 1, tier level 1, and yeah, big thank you for all you. And when I have the time, I'm gonna be over there sharing with you all in person. So thank you.
That'll be great. So how did you hear about the job?
So the job, basically, I got through somebody connect me through, so my profile, contact me, and then go to the interview process. And yeah, it's.
How long was the process, was the interview process? A couple weeks or a couple months?
That was as fast I ever imagined. Just wasn't one week, because they really need someone for the position as soon as possible. So they interview and just basically start the next week. So it was as fast as I ever imagined. So.
All right. Well, Jesus, thank you very much for the great news. Also, if you will, in the chat window, let us know where you're working at and give us your job title. And that way I can update the roster. So congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, let's move on here. Let's see here. What we love everybody to do now, if you will, open up the chat window and put in there your name, comma, phone, comma, email address, position you're looking for, a couple target companies, 2 or 3 preferably, and then hit the return key. And when you do that, I will take all this information. I'll put it into an email this afternoon. Look over that email. See if you find a company that you maybe can help somebody with, and reach out and help that person with a contact. I also use this to update the roster. So if I know that if you put your information in the chat window, I know that you're here, and I will update the roster with that, and you'll get the email this afternoon. Otherwise, I don't know you're with us, and we don't know you what's going on. So I'll give you 30 seconds on the clock. All righty, if you're still typing in, please continue to type away. We'll get all that information in. For those watching on Facebook, if you want to put your contact information so we know you're with us, I will go delete it right after the meeting so it doesn't hang out there forever and ever. All right, what we want to do now is for those people that are here in person, we're going to allow them to give their 30-second introductions. So let me call up the camera in here. Let me turn this off. So you can follow this format or follow whatever format you like. So, Jim, you want to start?
Morning, I'm Jim Parker. I have formal training as electronics technician, electrical engineer. I've got good communication skills, so I spent most of my career in technical sales and marketing. I've held significant positions in engineering, marketing, and sales. External to the company, I can speak to any business or technology level to help the customer understand the full value of the products and services my company represents. Internal to the company, I'm a facilitator. I work easily across departmental lines to get things done. I'm Jim Parker.
Good morning. My name is Todd Billingsley. I have over 20 years experience in transportation, mostly last mile delivery. I help with making routes more efficient to make the companies more profitable. I'm looking for contacts with the Container Store, Dr. Pepper, and Boeing. Again, my name is Todd Billingsley.
Morning. My name is Craig Ledgerwood. I'm a data analyst, primarily doing PL SQL programming in Oracle and several other databases. Also work with reporting packages, Cognos, business objects, and MicroStrategy. Basically, I help companies visualize the data that they have locked up in their databases. So my target companies are generally companies dealing with large data volumes. And 3 target companies I've actually applied online, trying to get some more contacts into would be AT&T, Fidelity Investments, and Bank of America. Again, my name is Craig Ledgerwood.
Good morning. My name is William McLaughlin. I'm seeking a data analyst role. I assist companies in improving their bottom line by doing the research necessary to help them make necessary data-driven decisions. Looking for contacts at Leidos and CoreLogic. Again, my name is William McLaughlin. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Anthony Archery. I'm a senior retail manager / merchandiser, help company grow sales and profit through creative ways.
Hello, everyone. My name is Chandler Kim. I'm a technology, marketing, and partnering executive. I help companies win more and grow faster. My target companies this week are Live Action Software and a company called Asigra. Once again, my name is Chandler Kim.
My name is Lena. I do market research, data analysis for biotechnology and healthcare companies. Still searching for companies. Right now, I contacted Grail, which is a biotechnology company, but my focus on biotechnology and healthcare companies. Again, my name is Lena.
Great, thank you very much. So as you can tell, there are more people here in the room than you can see on the camera right now. So I just thought there's a few of us here. Okay. Let's see here. If you know somebody who's been, camera's G that now. Sorry. Yeah. You may want to give that back to him.
He can come up there and.
If you know somebody who's unemployed, we've got two websites. Career DFW, Career USA. They are totally free. They don't collect any personal information. If you know somebody who's unemployed, please let them know about the 2 websites. Also, this week, the new version of careerdfw.org went online. So it looks a little different than what you see here. Check it out. If you see something that's broken, if you see something that doesn't work, I found a couple little bugs the other day and I'm trying to get them fixed. But if you happen to find something on either of the 2 websites that does not work correctly, please let me know so I can get it updated and get it fixed. Yes, I've got that. So yeah, if you know anything, please let us know. And where you see that, so all that's on there. One of the things you'll find on the Career DFW calendar, the Career DFW website, is a group of calendars. On those calendars, the pink are job fairs, the blue are networking meetings that are meeting in person. The gold are special workshops that are happening. Everything's all color coded out there. You could go check them out. And if, you know, there's something going on all the time here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. All right, let's talk about the practice interview team for just a second. Chandler.
One thing that's common for all of us, regardless of the type of role that we are seeking, is there will be an interview process. So if you've ever wondered about how you interview, are there things that you could do to improve? The practice interview team is a great resource to use to get free feedback on your interviewing skills. It's a true practice interview. It doesn't cost anything. It's staffed by volunteers who have all been hiring managers. And if you would like to participate, there's both in-person sessions that happen here in Dallas every first and third Wednesday. There's also online options that are happening on the alternate weeks, the second and the last week. If you'd like to participate, please send an email to that email address that's circled on the screen, dallaspitcrew@gmail.com, and the nice folks there will get you on the schedule.
Chandler, thank you very, very much. All right, let's hear about the interview success workshop. Good morning, Walt.
Good morning, everyone. And just briefly here, we want to give thanks to our God in heaven that the temperature is not 107. Well, good morning. And so how do I do interviewing skills and confidence building? And I do it through the interview success workshop. And it's also free. I heartily support the pit crew. I think that mock interview is extremely important and good for us to practice. The workshop is a very informal session where we are focused on learning. We're not focused on being the mock interview, and that we're kind of getting ready for the fundamentals of differentiation and how we can sell ourselves. And I defined that back in the year 2000 when I lost a job and screwed up an interview as we're selling who we are, what we do, and how we help. So how do we actually do that in an interview? How do we sell? Everyone agrees we're in a selling situation, but I don't hear a lot of selling in interviews. So how do we accomplish that? Well, that's what that session's about. You can look me up on LinkedIn under Walt Glass, and you can see the About section, and it'll tell you more about registration. You can see my email address that I use for the workshop. Just send me a note, but you can look up some more details there. It's that QR code will actually start an email to me to ask you for registration, and it's only asking for how you learned about me and which phone number is. So I gotta have your email address, phone number, and then I'll contact you with availability dates. So in this workshop, we want to reduce stress. We want to have a good time. We want to enjoy learning. We don't have to go through pain to do that. And so the workshop is called Learning Without Squirming. Are you tired of the jobless vacation with the multiple interviews iteration? Want to make this inference? Practicing makes the difference from job search. What? Let me think. Yeah, from job search, we'll celebrate deliverance.
Thank you very, very much, Walt. All right, give me a second here. Click a couple buttons. All right, it's time to hear our career tip of the week. Every week, there's a brand new career tip of the week on the Career DFW and Career USA websites. Rosanna's with us this morning, is going to read it for us. So good morning, Rosanna.
Good morning, Jeff. Good morning, everybody. And yes, Walt, thank God for a definitely different temperature this morning. It is very nice and comfortable. All right. This week's tip of the week is dated October the 1st, 2023, and it's the psychology of time management and 5 strategies. And this article is written by Michael Wiederman. He's a PhD and he's a former clinical psychologist professor who now works full-time applying psychology to the workplace. So the answer isn't more time or efficiency, but managing your natural tendencies. Oops, sorry, I forgot to put my phone on mute. Hold on one second. All right, sorry about that, everybody. Key points. Due to the common feeling of never having enough time, many authors promise productivity hacks. Our brains are wired to lead to tendencies that make the sense of time scarcity worse. And awareness is the first step to avoid the lure of task completion bias, multitasking, and the planning fallacy. Do you feel as though you don't have enough time to get everything done? It's natural to think, if I just had a little more time or had less to do, or could get caught up, it wouldn't be a problem. But because time is one thing that everyone has the same amount of, regardless of wealth or status, what varies is how much is expected or demanded from each of us during a designated span of time. Because time itself cannot be managed, it comes down to what can you do that designates your time span and behavior management. And this is where psychology comes into play. A suite of psychological phenomena work in concert to undermine our sense of accomplishment and satisfaction with our time management. So you want to beware of task completion bias. Let's start with considering the large set of possible behaviors during our hypothetical span of time. We have our presumed large to-do list of things that need to get done now, soon, or at some time in the future. What do you tackle first? Chances are smaller, easier tasks rise to the top. After all, you might be able to knock those off the list, several tasks in a relatively short time. So why not get those out of the way? Psychologists prefer that tendency as a task completion bias. Uncompleted tasks create psychological discomfort, and completing tasks provides relief, as well as a sense of accomplishment and a little hit of neurotransmitters that are reinforcing. It's like scratching an instant lottery ticket and scoring a small prize. Not going to change your life, but provides a jolt of pleasure for the moment. Much has been written about the daily flood of small emails, texts, and other instant messages experienced by most people who work in offices. Responding to messages is just one example of small tasks that seem as though they have to be done, but a common and never-ending one. When you prioritize small tasks, the larger ones are delayed, sometimes indefinitely, if there are no deadlines. The small tasks frequently seem urgent and grasp your attention, yet it's the larger tasks that are typically the most important for your success and satisfaction, though less urgent until the deadline looms. The result is that we often fail to achieve the goals that most align with our values and sense of meaningful work and recognition. Stuck on the treadmill of task completion bias, when the deadline for a larger, more complex task is soon approaching, we experience increased stress and sense that there are never enough time. Next, you want to look at multitasking and the enemy of deep work. The most important aspects of our work frequently require sustained attention or thought, which psychologists refer to as deep work. However, when stressed by too much to do, it is easy to be lured into the multitasking. Unfortunately, a growing body of research consistently demonstrates the inefficiency and increased experience of stress that multitasking engenders. Perhaps even more troubling is that frequent multitasking and focusing our attention on small tasks train the brain to function accordingly, making deep work more difficult over time. Now, if you look at entering the planning fallacy, in addition to task completion, that bias and multitasking, other psychological factors may undermine prioritizing and successfully completing our important tasks. One of the human tendencies to be overly optimistic in estimating how much time we have to work on something, as well as how long a task will take. a phenomenon psychologists refer to as the planning fallacy. How many hours do you get or do you have to get work done at your job? A likely reply is 8 hours. However, we know from experience that there will be interruptions, distractions, needed breaks, and so forth. Of the actual available work time, how much would you have available to work on something you prioritize? Whatever your answer, it is very likely too generous. One reason is that you tend to underestimate the non-productivity factors just mentioned, as well as unanticipated tasks and problems that pop up over the course of the day. And we tend to underestimate how long something will take to get done for the same reasons. So what can you do? Well, first, you want to start each day articulating the truly important things to get done that day. Ask yourself, if I could only work on one thing today, what should it be? In this context, how do you define important? Consider non-traditional definitions such as most personally or professionally meaningful, or most likely to bring a sense of relief or reduction in anxiety, or having the largest and longest lasting impact. Number two, you want to break down larger tasks into defined achievable steps. And instead of planning time to work on X, specify a goal that can be identified as having been achieved. This way, you are using task completion bias to your advantage. Reward yourself for completing that daily step. Third, you want to avoid the lure of multitasking and getting pulled into distractions and task completion bias. Schedule and protect blocks of time set aside for specific deep work and alter your surroundings to minimize distractions and interruptions. This may include a sign on your door or cubicle, wear headphones, or setting up auto replies that indicate when others might be able to expect a response to their messages. Fourth, you want to fight the planning fallacy. Estimate how much time you have to work on your designated task today and how long it will take. Then cut the first one in half and double the second estimate. These revised estimates will not feel realistic, but track your actual experience during the course of the day and compare. Another fruitful strategy is to imagine that a coworker has the same designated task and perform both estimates for that other person. These may still be overly optimistic, but they tend to be less than personal estimates. And then fifth, anticipate interruptions and delays and form simply behavioral responses. Psychologists refer to these little plans as implementation intentions, and they are highly effective at facilitating goal achievement. For example, if a coworker interrupts my schedule today to work on my priority task, I will explain and ask that we set a time to resume whatever they brought up, or while working on X, I will turn off my device notifications and not look at any messages. So in the end, time management is not an all or nothing or one magic strategy type of problem to be solved. Instead, like our other behaviors and life experiences, it is an ongoing dilemma to be managed. The process starts with raising awareness of your own tendencies and experimenting with what works best for you. Hopefully, the few psychological phenomena and strategies introduced here provide a fruitful starting place on your time management professional development path. Again, this is the tip of the week dated October 1st, 2023, and it's the psychology of time management and 5 strategies. Have a fantastic weekend, everybody.
Back on, Rosanna, thank you very, very much. When I saw this tip, I thought, we're all dealing with time management. We're all trying to figure out what we can do during our job search and what should we be doing. Are we actually setting some goals in the morning? That's why I thought this was sort of an important tip to at least to share the 5, goals at the very end that Rosanna talked about. So thank you very much. All right, come join us today for lunch. We're going to go to Mama's Pizza, 2130 West Parker Road, on Parker. Oh, you had. You predicted Mama's today? Okay. All right. We had a prediction here. I was going to ask everybody. Okay. We're on Parker, a half a block west of Custer. They have a pizza buffet, pasta, salad bar, and hot cinnamon rolls. So please come join us today for lunch. You got to eat lunch. Come join us. A quick little reminder, I just do this once a month. The Career DFW and the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group are two different organizations. Career DFW is a 501c3. I started back in 2008 to help the unemployed, both in the DFW and around the United States. The North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group is a bunch of great people who get together on Friday mornings. I've been doing that since the late 1990s. The only common thread between the two is that I happen to lead both. If you want to overthrow me here on a Friday morning, you're welcome to do so, but you're not going to get Career DFW out of my hands. So I just like to share that. This is not the Friday group of Career DFW. Sometimes I hear that, and that's not who we are. All right, our main event here in just a second is we're going to have open forum. We'll talk about whatever questions you have about your job search. So what we'd love for everybody to do is please turn on your cameras so we can see you. I'm going to stop sharing here, but we'd love to be able to see you, see your smiling face. So let me pop this open. And I see there's a few faces up there. Let me flip the view here. The gallery view, that way we can see everybody at once. All right, so we can talk about whatever it is you would like to talk about. You want to talk about time management, whatever. Well, William, you had something, right? All right, so here in the room, be sure if either you want to get closer, you can get closer. If you want to stay where you are, but we got to pass the mic around so everybody can hear us. Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, so it's William McLaughlin. I have one question I have is related to integrity. I've noticed something that caught my attention, but not in a good way. It's I just had found out about something that in regards to hiring managers and what they do that is not okay. That like I'm finding that 4 in 10 hiring managers are admitting that they lie to candidates in the hiring process, whether that be on job descriptions, in job interviews, or even in job offer letters. And it seems to be such a common thing. And if you think I'm making this up, I'm not, because this was an actual poll done by Resume Builder. So it's very concerning to see that. Not only that, but most of the hiring managers that admit to doing this either think that it is somewhat acceptable or very acceptable. So my question related to all this is, why has a lack of integrity become so acceptable in the US when conducting hiring processes?
Comments, questions, suggestions, comments? At home, if you're welcome just to unmute your mic and jump right in.
One facet of the culture, that's all.
Well, they take the mic. If you're talking here, you got to take the mic.
Possibly just one facet of the entire culture becoming like that.
Yeah.
I had a little input, Craig Ledgewood here. With respect to jobs, I think a lot of that is just, kind of the whole interview, it's miscommunication, because I just kind of joke around with myself many times. It's like the job you see posted online that's written up in a job rec, the job you interview for, and the job the boss was describing to you, and then the job you accepted, and then the job you were doing the first 4 months. And then what you find yourself doing a year later to stay in the company, to me, are always like 5 or 6 different things. So I attribute a lot of that to just miscommunication. And if I had to think about it, I hire somebody to do a job or something like that. I mean, I would like landscaping in my parents' house out of state that I still maintain. I have a rough time hiring anybody up there to describe what I want to do around my house. So how am I going to have anybody accurately describe what they're truly looking for? So I think what a lot appears to be deception, I think, is just many times vagueness and miscommunication. That's my 2 cents.
Jim Parker, I agree with that. In addition, especially in larger companies, quite often the person who wrote the job description is not the person interviewing you. And in addition, there's lots of job applicants that lie about themselves. So it's not just on the company.
Yeah, I know I used to work at a company and we had a book of job descriptions, big old book. And so when you went to hire somebody, you had to go through the book, find the job description closest to what you wanted the person to do. And that, and primarily it's just to fit the pay scale. It's not necessarily to do the task, but to fit the pay scale, hire that person. But then you're telling them, well, yeah, you're not really doing this. This is what you're going to be doing. So.
But the thing I really don't like about this is the extreme double standards. Like where we as job applicants are expected to be truthful on job applications and expected to be truthful in interviews. But it seems like nowadays, on the other side, there's literally no expectation of them to be truthful. That's what I'm.
Well, was your thing talking about recruiters or talking about hiring managers?
Talking about everybody.
Everybody through.
On the
Yeah.
other side, everybody on the other side.
I don't think, when you're looking to hire somebody, I don't think that they're in an emergency situation. They've got a hole to fill. They don't have time to spend a week and get a committee together and what should this role be and what should we be doing and to really detail what has to be done. So I think they just sort of go to the book, they find a job description, they go, here's what we've done in the past, let's just pull that, we'll find somebody to fill the slot and then we'll get them to do what we need them to do. So I don't know if they're deliberately, I think it's a lot of it's just ignorance. They may, especially in HR, they may not really know what the job is. They're given a bad job description, but it's possible. Any comments out there from anybody? Alan, I see you shaking your head.
Yeah. Sorry, I can't hear you on my computer, so I'm using my phone. Anyway, yeah, Jeff. So I actually interviewed this week for a role, and the job description really didn't align with what the role. That just overarching, some things didn't match up, but I kind of understood that after the call and what you guys are reiterating. It's just like, hey, let's just find someone generally for this role, and then we'll let the hiring manager go from there.
That's why I think sometimes if you find a job description and you're 50 or 60% match, apply for it because
Yeah.
you're looking for. Alan, why don't you tell us who you are, what you do, and how you give us your 30-second introduction.
So my name is Alan Burnett, and I'm based in Atlanta. So got y'all's link. So it's great to join you all. In a nutshell, I enjoy taking care of people and things. My past experiences in facilities management and also logistics, but woven in my entire career has just been customer service, customer support, building relationships with the client. And target companies, I really don't have any. Mostly I'm looking at big commercial real estate firms to get plugged in here in Atlanta with, as far as facilities management, facilities coordinator. Again, so Alan Burnett, thank you.
Great. Thank you very, very much. Any other comments about that? About if you dealt with recruiters or hiring managers and you found that it doesn't quite match up?
Well, I'll change topics a little bit. So to your point, Jeff, if you find a job rec out there and you think you can plug half the stuff, go ahead and apply. So I'm not suggesting you just apply online and then expect people to call you back. But then when you apply companies and you have to, typically apply online, get an application in, you see the job rec online, you fill out the work experience sections, that's going to an applicant tracking system. Nobody's going to see that. You got to hit the database. So is it almost hit the point that on these online applications, you pretty much need to put about every buzzword in the job rec and get it into the work experience sections you put there just to get past the screen and actually start to get blatant about that? Because I've applied to several things online. I've gone to JobScan. I tweaked up the word matches where I think I'm getting 80-90% matches. But I mean, for 10 things I've applied online, and I know they're like, big buckets, I just really don't seem to get callbacks. So I'm wondering, does this even get through the applicant tracking system? And how bold do I get to start to plug all the keywords that are in the job recs just to get a callback, given the job rec maybe matches the job 50%? I'm just saying.
Yeah. Comments from anybody? I mean, I've got my opinion here, but I'll let everybody else. Suggestions, comments? Right back here behind you.
After hearing the comments, it seems as if it's unintentional most of the time. It's not with intent to deceive all the time. So that's what I learned from this discussion.
Yeah, comments about applying online. Yeah.
Some time ago, a couple of years ago, actually, they did a study and they found out they went to a couple of large companies and they took star performers at those companies and had them apply through the applicant tracking system, and they didn't make it. And it has to do with, the applicant tracking system is designed by people that don't do the job and don't understand the job. It's a software algorithm and they just put it together. There's big problems internally with regards to that.
I just don't know there's anybody to work the screens prior to trying to,
Yeah.
network in and get in front of folks and that type of
I just thought that was hilarious because you got not just employees, but they wouldn't get a call back because they don't match this criteria.
We always talk
AI
about,
will take care of it.
Yes.
we always talked about that when you fill out an application online, you fill out the online application, you have a 1 to 2% chance of getting a phone call back, no matter how good your thing is, 1 to 2%. But if you can network your way into a company, you have almost a 50% chance of getting a phone call back. So if you find that perfect job, apply for it online, and then go to LinkedIn and who can I find in that company that I can network with to let them know? Well, you're not going to know who you can trust or not, but you just want to network your way in to see who can get your name possibly to the hiring manager. One of the other things you can do too is if you're applying for a company and go to LinkedIn, just type in recruiter in that company, see what recruiters pop up and see if any of those sound like the recruiter who may be filling that job. Even if not, look for the recruiting manager, contact that person and just go, I've applied for this job. I am fully qualified and love to help your company out, because that'll get you seen and then they'll pass it down to whoever it needs to be passed down to usually. So especially when it comes from a manager that, hey, go call this person. So yeah, Mike, who's got the mic? Walt. You don't want to give it out. He's just sitting there.
So, and just to follow up on that, just a follow-up question on that about, what about like, because they always, as I've been hearing stuff about, sending video emails and stuff to them, like, is that actually effective, or is it just or is that kind of like people just trying to sell you on something that just sounds good, but it doesn't really make your chances of getting seen that much higher?
I think the problem with video, and this is my bias,
Like,
once again, my
yeah.
opinion,
Sure.
is that when you send a video email, personally, I don't open it because I don't know where it came from. A lot of company softwares will not allow it through to get into their company. So you're sending something that's not going to be seen most likely.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest. I mean, that's one of the biggest like flaws I've seen, and like what they teach and the summit. That's because they push that a lot.
Right. And
As I remember that from going through it 4 years ago, and probably there may be others that have gone through it more recently, and it's like, so I just had to ask about that because I got that mentioned to me at Frisco Connect by one of the people that is now associated with it.
I mean, some people like it. I think some people get some really good effect out of it. If you can post a video on LinkedIn, you can post a little short video on LinkedIn. That's going to be safe because you're not downloading it to my computer.
Right.
But if you send it to me as an email, I don't open them.
Yeah, and that's why they do talk about that in the some as well, like doing a video resume. You doing like you post that, like you'll share it on LinkedIn. And it's It's between 1 and 2 minutes long, just explaining everything that you've, just like it's kind of, you're answering the tell me about yourself part on like in a video form, I guess, if that makes sense. Like they seem to, that's another thing in the video that they seem to push.
Has anybody here done the 1 minute, 2 minute video on LinkedIn?
No, just, yes, I pulled it up. In fact, right at the top under featured, it says life motto. And it says stand out in 90 seconds. So this guy does this, a 90-second interview, and he'll ask you 5 questions that you have the opportunity to answer. It's very valuable.
Okay.
Yeah,
Anybody online? Have you done anything? Have you posted a video on LinkedIn? Anybody? I see a bunch of head shaking.
Yeah, because this is something you can't say on a resume, may not even come up in an interview, but just about your personality and character.
Right.
Very nice. If you go to my profile, you'll find it right at the top. Check it out and approach Ashwin Krishnan.
Tell us your name.
My name is Lily Kadur.
Okay, so this afternoon, take a look at Lily's LinkedIn profile, and we'll all go look at her video. All right, so I will, if I remember, I'll put that in the.
I'll spell it for you too. Lily spelled with 2 L's and a Y, and Kadur is K-A-D for Dallas, U-R.
All right. Oh, we could actually do it right here, right now, if you want.
You can.
So what else do you think about when you're showing, when you're applying for a line? When you're applying online, do you find it to be a big waste of time? There's a speaker out of the Minneapolis, St. Paul area who says, never apply for a job online. You're wasting. Oh. Alan, did you have a comment?
Yeah, I'm trying to work the controls here. I would totally agree. I sometimes do it, but it's better to do it and have a connection to the job at the employer or someone who knows someone there. If not, I'm starting to believe it's a waste.
Yeah. Comment. Hi.
This is Veronica. I would have to agree. That's what I'm experiencing too, because it's like, but I have been reaching out to people. And actually, I've gotten some very interesting invites this past week from people after I made a small tweak to my LinkedIn profile. It seems like I got a call from someone from Southwest Airlines inviting me out to their event on Monday. And then I also got another opportunity from another lady who has a lot of remote opportunities in some of the places that I would really like to relocate to. And so, like I said, I'm just trying to leverage it right now for myself because it has been kind of ups and downs with all the traction of AT&T with the layoffs, but there are still a lot of opportunities. And one of my mentors at AT&T has kind of told me to just kind of give it the dust a little time to settle because there will be a lot of roles that they're trying to fill here before December and into the first quarter of the next year with all the people that are planning to retire and everything. So, but it's tough because like everybody's been saying, you check all the boxes, but still it's like you get that, response back saying, hey, we move forward with somebody that's a better match. And I'm like, okay, but I do the same exact job that's out there. So sometimes those requisitions are not 100% correct of what they're looking for. I've just been trying not to give myself too much time to it and just use your words of wisdom. As you said, that the opportunity is going to come by who you know and not what's all on your resume.
Veronica, why don't you go ahead and tell us who you are? Give us your 30-second introduction.
Yes, Veronica Tatum. I'm a senior sourcing manager. I'm sorry, my kettle is going off. I'm 25 years in with AT&T. I am right now in a career transition, looking for opportunities within global supply chain or logistics or even within project management. Again, Veronica Tatum.
Veronica, thank you very much. Any other comments? Walt?
Option one, apply online all day long. Option two, apply sometimes, not all the time, not during the day, evenings, weekends, selective applications, the companies that you are interested in, not just a blind response to all those emails you get for a possible match. All right. So that's another option. And option three is, and now no, there's two people now that say never apply online first. You would go and get your connection, and then they'll say, yeah, well, let me go. You got to submit an application online, but you're already at the top of the list when you go. So there's your three options.
Right. Any other comments about this? All right, what else can we talk about? I like, says I like option number 3.
Hey, Jeff, real quick.
Alan?
I would just add that the interview that I just had recently this week was, they just reached out to me out of the blue after me applying. I did not follow up with anybody. So there is a small chance that it can happen, and it could be a great opportunity, but we'll see. But anyway, it is possible, but y'all all right. It's less of an opportunity or a chance for it to happen.
You always do it. You always try. You never ever know which, you never know what method's going to do. Is it applying something on Monster? Is it applying something on Indeed? Is it, applying? You just never know which one, because everybody, in this group over the years, somebody's gotten hired by every different method. So you just have to try things. Jim.
It's such a time killer because you got to keep track of all these things as well. So not only are you spending time applying, you're spending time keeping track. Let's go back to time management for a second. Look at the activities that you need to do in job search, and you do just like anything at work. You say, I ask 2 questions when people would come ask me and they need me to deliver something. I'd say, when you need it, and what happens if you don't get it by that day. Now, quite often when I was developing software, I would get a request on Friday for a change to be implemented on Monday. And I said, okay, Sunday afternoon about 2 o'clock, I'll have the test results. I'd like you to come in and see if everything's okay. And they said, Tuesday will be fine. So, but use your time management. Look at the activities that you need to do for a successful job search. Where do you get the biggest bang for the buck? And then prioritize that. The last thing on time management, it says when you have a task, it doesn't go to a to-do list. It goes to a spot on your calendar as to when you're going to do that task. So pick the time, because the bottom 3 or 4 things that your 15-point to-do list never get done. Therefore, put them down on the calendar when you're going to spend time. And then when you look at your calendar and you see that you've got 8 other things you're going to do on that date, you pick a different date. My suggestion.
Jim Parker. A couple of years ago at this meeting, I believe there was a woman, she was pulling her LinkedIn profile together and she looked at a job and she accidentally hit the quick apply. I mean, it just boom, and she'd applied for the job and she was embarrassed about it. 2 days later, they contacted her. A week later, she had the job. Applying online, applying in person, networking, these are all different ways to do it. Part of it is your own personality, what works for you, and part of it's just the luck of the draw. You may apply online and hit them right at the, and again, a couple of years ago, there was a guy, accountant. He applied for an IRS job up in Michigan online. They just offered him the job as soon as they contacted. He never had an interview. They just offered, you remember him, and it was just out of the blue. So prioritize, but also go with your own personal, if something works for you, certainly keep doing it, but don't just automatically discard everything, because everybody gets jobs from you can get a job waiting in line at the grocery store. It has happened. So don't discount anything.
All right. Any other comments?
I was just thinking about a story about this integrity. So one of the people that had attended our groups in the past got a job at HEB as a night manager. And she found that one of the responsibilities that was not listed on the job description was unloading trucks. Now she's about 5'3", weighs 100 pounds, and she injured her back. So she went to the doctor to see about getting her back, and then had some therapy, and she ended up working there at the doctor's office. And I know this story because I went to that doctor this week and saw her.
Okay. Okay, so you never know where you're going to find your next job at. Never, ever, never. All right, what else can we answer for somebody? I'm going to save Lily's LinkedIn thing for the end. I called it up here, so we'll take a look. All right, we'll take a look at it here at the end. What else can we answer for somebody? We had a good topic last week we were going to bring up. What was it we were talking about last week? And we said, oh, that'd be great for this week. I forget.
Well, I have a question for everyone. How do you determine integrity in a corporation through your interviewing and research process?
Anybody out there?
Where does it fit on your value list for a corporation to have? What of the values, where does integrity fit?
Well, that's a personal decision, Walt, and I agree. It's something you should be aware of and keep track of. You can look at, as with any person's, any integrity, and I'm not going to equate a corporation with a person, but you see what they do when no one's looking. That's usually a bar, my baseline for integrity. What are they doing when the cameras are around? What is things they don't post? So you have to really dig deep to find out, oh, they volunteered at this, or they donated that. Or even talk to people at the organization and see how they feel about the organization. One little tidbit that I got when I was starting out professionally was check out their bathrooms. How do they treat the bathrooms? No one sees it. It's a function everybody has to use, but it's a good indicator of how they treat their employees. So again, these little pockets of things, little tidbits you pick up looking at the organization. But again, I personally think it's just things that no one really pays attention to and that you don't advertise. That's how you measure integrity.
Jim Parker, on that same line, a lot of people say, look at how people treat their waitresses. So at a business, you look and see how they treat the secretaries, how they treat the clerks, how they treat the lower level people. Are they talking to them or are they talking at them?
Up to you. You can.
I was just going to say, we're in the interview process and we're trying to determine integrity during this hiring process.
In fact, I try to determine beforehand by looking at the reviews, and I think I could confidently cite as an example, Koch Industries, or KOCH. They have a reputation for ethical practices, and they have a bunch of subsidiaries. I can't remember one of them here.
Yeah, and I sort of hate to burst the bubble, but it's only as good as their manager. I mean, it's only as good just because the company feels this way, just because the company has a lot of really great things. It just takes one bad manager, and
sometimes
you don't tend to know that till you're involved.
Sometimes the questions asked could indicate that. For example, I was asked if you know that your manager is cheating the company, and you want to report it, will you tell him or her first? And but the fact that and I said yes, I would, but I guess that's not really the right answer. But because I guess I don't like to backbite, so I said I would first tell them. But I guess in that situation, it's not the best way to go about it.
Right.
But the fact that they asked that question meant that they value ethical behavior. Thanks.
Kathy, I see your hand up.
I was going to say, try to arrive at the interview early enough so that you can engage conversation with the person at the front desk, because a lot of times you can tell from that, or at least it will raise a red flag so that you're on alert for other indications during the interview process.
I like her. I don't know if people here didn't see her comment. Kathy put in the chat window, usually the Holy Spirit raises red flags. That was good. I saw somebody else had, Kim, you have your hand up. You had a question or a comment?
Yeah, I just wanted to add that when I've engaged with the hiring manager and the hiring team during the interview process, I find it disheartening when I follow up by email or even by LinkedIn message with a very nice, cordial greeting and a message thanking them, etc. That I find it very disheartening when I don't get a response. I feel like on a personal level, I think I might merit at least a response, even as, thank you very much, blah, blah, blah. And I think that once you get to the interview stage, I don't think it's a question of them not having enough time or bandwidth to do it. So what does that mean? It kind of means that I think less of them as an individual. I think less of that company as a corporation, that the culture doesn't kind of encourage them to be more professional and even friendly towards interviewee candidates. And I'm just wondering whether there's an HR reason why hiring teams don't engage with a candidate during the interview process, like not wanting to give signals that they're a favorable candidate or not. I'm not sure, but just at a basic interpersonal level, I find that disheartening. And if I was in that situation, when I was in that situation hiring somebody, I certainly went to lengths to engage with the person to keep them posted on the process.
Boy, I sure wish we could have the Dallas HR group here right now and their monthly meeting and
Actually, I found the HR reps have been the most friendly and cordial. It's the actual hiring team and hiring manager.
Because
Yeah,
the hiring managers are coached by the HR people. We're a very litigious society, and it's very easy for somebody to say, when you're trying to get personal with somebody, all it takes is one wrong word and you can have the company get sued. So they either completely disengage or give such a generic response. My brother has asked me about this. And a lot of times it's just position's been closed, period. Yeah, that doesn't indicate that anybody's been hired. It's just like, we're not hiring anymore for that.
And to add to that, they in the poll here that was done by Resume Builder, there were these hiring managers that were asked why they lie to candidates. There's several reasons here that about the common ones anyways. It's like A, to protect sensitive company information, B, to cover up negative information about the company, C, to attract job seekers. In order to attract job seekers, some benefits are exaggerated. D, to deliberately say things that will please the candidate. E, to make the job sound better than it really is. And F, to attract more qualified candidates. This is why seems so. Just to add to that, I mean, so by the way, just this poll is available to be seen on Resume Builder. If you
tell you what, send me the link and I'll put it in the email this afternoon.
sure, that'd be I'll gladly do that.
Yeah, we'll get it out to everybody so y'all can read it if you're.
Yeah, I'd like everybody to read that. You can actually, matter of fact, you can just Google hiring managers lie. That's all you have to put in the search bar in Google, and you can just scroll down a bit and it'll be there. And it's actually on a couple other websites as well. But the other websites that it is on will reference this article on Resume Builder.
Candidates are held to a higher standard than anyone else.
Yes.
Yep.
Have to agree on
That's
that.
True. Kim Jones, would you like to give us your 30-second introduction? Tell us who you are.
Yeah, certainly. My name is Kim Jones. I am a B2B technical product marketing senior executive. I help B2B technology companies grow through creative marketing. I'm looking for a senior marketing role in telecoms or cloud communications companies, the likes of AT&T, Verizon, and then other companies that are probably more niche, like Vonage, Cineverse, Open Signals, SignalWire, companies like that. Again, my name is Kim Jones. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Lisa Crawford, why don't you tell us who you are?
Morning, everybody. I'm Lisa Crawford. I'm a writer with skills in copywriting and technical writing. I would like to move to a more technical role for my next opportunity. I'm still working on target companies. I'll get there eventually. One of these days, I'll figure it out. Yep, that's me. Morning.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, we'll get to some more people here in just a second. What else can we talk about? What other questions? What else has popped up? Well, who did I see? Akeisha, you had a question. Why don't you I'll let you pose your question and tell us who you are.
Morning, Alkeisha Rodriguez, Technical Project Manager. I translate the technical into tangible to make it profitable. That's my 10-second elevator speech. I am looking for software-based companies where I could be provide most impact. I'm thinking Microsoft, Google, ubiquitous companies that are in your day-to-day activities. And my question, though, is more for the interim time, like now. What do you put on the LinkedIn profile? It's been a few months since I've been out of work, and I've been taking classes, but I want to put something a little more official in my profile as the placeholder. What do I put there?
So you're saying you want something, so right now you just show that you haven't worked for the last couple months and it's
Correct.
just no current position.
Correct. But I want to put something that's showing that I'm not being idle, but I don't want to say be misleading. It's just integrity seems to be a common thread in today's conversation. I want to be upfront, but with productively upfront. Let's put it like that.
All right. Well, what I recommend for everybody to do, you have to have a current position on LinkedIn to be an all-star, to be, the best you can be. So what do you do for a current position? You create a position, you put down 2 or 3 job titles that you would be interested in. For the name of the company, you put down your phone number and email address, or just your email address or just your phone number for your company name. And then in the comment field or in the place where you would put your experiences, you can list 3 or 4 bullet points that tells people what it is you do, how you can help somebody with results. And you can say that you're continuing education, you're currently getting certificates in XYZ. Please, the very last line of that little comment thing should be, how can I help your company? Feel free to reach out, put your phone number and email address again, so that anybody who's looking, if they open it up, they're going to see, oh, well, she's currently working. Well, wait, oh, she's not currently working, but at least that they're, at least it gives you something current. And then once you get a job, you just delete that posting, delete that little section off your LinkedIn profile. And then that way you've got a current job. And then it explains to people what it is you're currently doing. Anybody here do that? No? Everybody's got a blank on their profile right now? Okay.
I don't have a blank, but I made something up and I put my job title is what I'm looking for, but I didn't do all that detailed stuff that you suggested. So
list a couple.
Have that on a handout somewhere or something?
Well, it's not only a handout, but if you list a couple details, that gives you an opportunity for more keywords. What is LinkedIn? LinkedIn is a big keyword matching thing. Companies looking for a couple things. So if you do it, let me know, because in 2 weeks, I'm going to be at a conference in Orlando and I want to show people there what it is you can do, and I'll show your profile. So I'll pop you up. Let me know you've done it. I'd love to have a couple examples to show people out there.
Okay, that's fair. So I'm gonna be very third grade about this. Can you repeat what you just told me?
So put in 2 or 3 job titles that you're interested in, because job titles are what companies search for. In the company name is your phone number and or email address, or both. Then in the description part of it, where you have your bullet points, list 3 or 4 bullet points as far as what it is you do, what do you do, how you can help a company. And then the very last bullet point should be, feel free to reach out. How can I help your company? And put your contact information in there again. You want to make, the whole point on LinkedIn is for recruiters to find you. And if they find you, can they easily reach out to you? Recruiters do not want to use LinkedIn InMail. LinkedIn InMail has less than a 10% chance of people responding to it. They want to pick up the phone and call you, first option. Second option, they want to contact you through your personal email account. So, if you need to create an alternative email account, it's easy to do. I just read an article yesterday that Gmail offers you unlimited alternate emails, and you can actually see where they're coming. I think you put in your Gmail address, you put in the beginning before the @ symbol, you put a plus sign, and like you could put plus LinkedIn, and that would be an email address that would then funnel all those. You could use it sort of like a throwaway email address to funnel into your main Gmail account. Really an interesting concept on on how you can handle that.
Oh, that's cool, Jeff. Thank you. In addition, I found out that Google will also take your name. So I found this out the hard way. Your first name and your last name, any variations of that is yours. So if you put a dot between the first and last, it's still yours. You put dots between the letters, it's still yours. And I'll be getting somebody's email who decided to use my name, but I had it first. So I'm getting her email address, her email sent to me. And I don't know how to undo it, but I think I like your comment better, your suggestion better about putting the plus sign after your first name at linkedin.com.
I would go check that out. I forget exactly what the detail is, but check out if you do, I think I saw it on Livewire. I think that's the people they post a lot of technical stuff. They had an article in the last couple of days talking about, Gmail offers you unlimited email addresses. Here's how to get them, and you can then funnel them from different companies. So you know where the stuff's coming. So like if you had an account set up at Macy's, you could have all your Macy's stuff come into something and you'll know where it is. So something to check out.
Sure.
All right. What else? Oh, comment. Mike, come on, you're in charge. Turn it on. Turn it on. Yeah, you can add that to your resume. Yes.
I get Lily Career again. This came up a couple times, the glaring employment gap, though people who are senior leaders in this new space I'm trying to transition to are of the view that it does not matter. It still has been raised, the question. So I've been working on demonstrating on my resume that I haven't been twiddling my thumb.
You're on video and I'm tired of switching it on and off.
What's that?
That's okay. Somebody had their mic on. That's okay.
Okay. So I thought of having right at the top professional development activities, and it could be as something as simple as viewing LinkedIn learning material or attending a one-day seminar. I've been doing a lot of that. I'm a member of the professional organizations. I'm at every event of theirs. So I know I can list it, and also a 6-month boot camp that I went through. So I have material, but just a suggestion, and do those things if you haven't already been doing it, whichever profession you're in. There are several meetups, even if it's not a professional organization, just being with your peers and staying in the groove. If you can show that on your resume, that you're not just watching TV in your jammies all day. Thank you.
Right. Good. Okay. Kathy, I know you had a question, or you had your hand up earlier.
Yes, I have a question. And eating bonbons. Don't forget about that, Lily. We sit on the couch, eat bonbons, and watch soap operas. Okay, so my question is, the topic today is integrity. And I've heard a few things that kind of imply to me that we're trying to be less than 100% honest on our LinkedIn and our resume. And that can be related to age, work experience, things like that. And I'm interested in comments on that. I'm interested in feedback on that. I feel like my opinion is, yes, I have 40 years of experience and I'm not going to hide it because I have some great successes in the first decade of my experience. But I'm getting so much feedback that tells me, oh no, you don't want people to know you have that much experience. That makes you old. Okay, well, if I show up at the interview with sparkles, I don't want you to be shocked either, so feedback.
I don't think you're trying to be deceptive. You want to package things that are palatable and
deceit is not palatable to me.
Say again?
Deceit is not palatable to me.
I agree. When I say again, I'm not advocating deception. I'm advocating that you get more. What's the saying? You catch more flies with honey than you do with salt. It's more making it digestible to the individual on the receiving end. You're not being deceptive because yes, you can't undo 40 years of experience, and they're going to know that you're not 40 because you have 40 years of experience unless you started from the womb. So it's packaging things to make it receptive and palatable, but you're not being deceptive. If you're being deceptive, then that's something different. If you're going to tell them, oh, I'm just coming out of school, or you could be just coming out of school at your age, but you want to be mature about your experience. You have extensive experience. You don't have to tell them 40 years. If you recognize that that's a problem language, perhaps you should change the language. Again,
okay,
not
I
losing
do
who
say
you are.
extensive experience. I don't say I have 40 years of experience.
Okay. I don't get the sense that that it's being deceptive to not say that. And if you feel comfortable coming to your interview in Sparkles, then come to your interview in Sparkles. But they need to be okay with you coming to interview with Sparkles, and you need to be okay with them having concerns about the Sparkles.
Okay, I don't think you understand my question. What I'm being told to do is take my first 20 years of experience off of my LinkedIn profile and my resume.
Okay. Okay, so I have 20 years of experience on working, and they don't want me to put all 20 either. So the cutoff usually 15 years of past experience. That's the standard.
That's okay. Never mind. I'm sorry I asked.
Well, here's something you can do, as far as showing, first of all, there's no right or wrong, okay? Recruiters are going to say, don't show more than 15, 20 years because it makes you look old. On the other hand, I personally I go all the way back on my LinkedIn profile. And the reason being is that I want to be able to connect with those people who I've connected with in the past. One other option that you have is that you can list list one job title and you call it prior relevant experience. And then in the experience section, you just list the name of the company and your job title, and that's it. You don't put any details, you don't put down any dates, but it just shows up as something before, showing what you've done in the past.
I've had Jim Parker. I have extraordinary experience. A lot of it occurred in my first 10 years. I still have that experience and I still have those abilities. I've had people tell me I should dumb down my resume because I seem to be overqualified. I've had people tell me that I shouldn't put down any experience going back more than 10 or 15 years. But I actually had a job coach tell me that I should list everything because, in her words, anybody that talks to me for 5 minutes knows that I have a lot of experience. And when I say a lot of experience, I'm not talking about 1 year of experience repeated 20 times. I have 20 years, 30 years of heavy duty experience. And that is shown on my resume and on my LinkedIn profile.
On a tactical level, on the resume, you can put prior experience and you don't have to put a date range. But if you want to put that same job work experience so that your LinkedIn profile matches, you do have to put in a date range. So I have concatenated my experience at a company I was working at 20 plus years ago and just put in the last 5 years of that experience, which I don't know if that's deceptive. It's not untrue. I was there over that period, but I just put the last 5 years I was there, not the whole 20 years I was there. So, you know, I don't know if that's acceptable, you know, practice. But I don't want to take it off completely because to the previous speaker's comments, there was a lot of experience I had there that certainly feeds into my current abilities.
Couple of thoughts. If ageism is going to be a factor, they're going to find out how old you are somewhere in the process.
That's right.
Why not let them find out early, you know, and get rid of it. And just go elsewhere. So that's one aspect of it. And the other thing is, when I look at a resume, I'm looking at, here's what I can do for you. Here's my experience, here's my skills, here's something about my strengths, my personality, and here's the value that I can bring. Do you want that or not? And then if they don't want that and we can't sell it that way, then it's not going to be a match. It is very difficult to resolve bias in the hiring process for whatever reason it might be. They have it, and we can't overcome it. We can't make them do differently. You just go elsewhere where that does not exist and you're in the right spot. That's my suggestion.
Yeah, I've been told the same thing. Take off when you graduated because you don't want to give your age and minimize this. So the interviewer doesn't know that this is my age. I am not in my 20s, but you know, I leave it. So I keep applying and I leave. You know, they said, especially when you graduated, you don't have to put the date when you graduated on an application. But I'm with you. Eventually, they are going to know that I'm not in my 20s. So.
Can you all hear me now? Now you can hear me. All right, I'm trying to charge this thing up all right, so I got to charge and uncharge. Kathy, you want to give us your 30-second introduction?
Sure. My name is Kathy Dixon. I'm a senior level technical writer with over 40 years experience in the high-tech industry. That was inserted to get a laugh. Thank you, Jeff. I'm looking for a position where I can help your engineers communicate what their software does, how it does it, and eliminate time for tech support people. I have successfully taken 2 call centers from a state of no documented processes to ISO certification. Kathy Dixon, senior tech writer.
Thank you very much. Nada, you want to tell us who you are?
Yes, my name is Nada Al-Raishi, and I've been in the global arena for the past 25 years, where I was asked to go overseas to EMEA to set operations for the company I was previously working for. I was very successful, and I was sent to Singapore to do the same in Asia and transition the culture of the company. Then I came back, and for the past 10 years, I've been focusing on a global supply chain, where I set up the suppliers that deliver services for us, from sourcing to negotiating agreements, SOWs, KPIs, fees, and managing the performance of the suppliers. I'm looking for a job in the global supply chain. My name is Nada Al-Braishi.
Thank you very much. How about Chris? You want to give us your 30-second introduction?
Hey everyone, I'm Chris Shulvin. I am currently underemployed, so I am looking for, well, after having a long conversation with myself, what I'm best at is administrative support. So I have connected with a few people on LinkedIn to apply at the VA hospital and also Social Security. So going from airlines to admin, I feel I'm very scatterbrained, but anyways, that's my recent 30-second interview. Again, Chris Shulvin. Check me out on LinkedIn. And I also have a comment for Alkeisha. Don't underestimate the power of doing volunteer work. I work for a nonprofit where I would assign volunteers to the skills they have. If someone told me they had accounting experience, I would easily put them over to donations where they are collecting or inputting donations. So make sure you put volunteer experiences on your resume. That can help fill out the gaps quite easily. Thank
Great.
you, everyone.
Yeah, that is a good, because once again, it shows your organizational skills. It shows whatever skills it is you're doing to help with that. That's wonderful.
It's networking.
Plus your networking.
So the story of the woman who was working in the soup kitchen, it like that she was talking to someone about she had applied for the Bush Foundation and didn't get the job. And the woman next to her said, "Oh, well, you should have told me. We go on vacations with the Bushes every year."
You never know who you're going to volunteer next to. All right, what else can we answer for somebody? What else? What else? What else? What else has popped up?
You know, I have a question on the resume.
Yes.
Like you put your skills on top. What about soft skills? Like, you know, they ask about, problem solving, adaptable, flexible. Do you put those up there or you leave them for the interview?
Anybody want to take that? Hold on, Mike. Come on, Mike Passer. You're not doing a very good job on this.
Yeah. Craig Ledgerwood here. Yeah. Generally things like that, if it's kind of like soft skills on how you get things done, I just kind of sprinkle around the adjectives and the impactful verbs and just kind of weave it into the situation, action, result bullet points. Like hard skills, specific programming languages, technical skills, I'll put those like in a core skills or key skills section, but usually the soft things, I just sprinkle them in the bullet points throughout the resumes. They kind of describe how you do things. That's just me.
Yeah, everybody's going to be a problem solver. Everybody's going to be a self-motivated, those soft skills. So yeah, just put those in bullet points.
You know, when the job description requires these things, so you're submitting the resume and they're not there, but it's on the job description. So if they are looking only for technical words, then you are out.
Well, if they're listing soft skills on a job description, I would be at the very bottom of your resume after your computer skills, I would list a section soft skills and just list those skills, and you're doing it for the keyword match. That's the only reason you're putting them on there. You would not normally put that on a resume.
Kim, can I use you as an example?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay, well, Kim's signed up for the workshop. So guess what I did? I went out and looked at his LinkedIn profile. All right, so I would suggest you go look at his about section on Kim's LinkedIn profile and see how he has used his soft skills throughout the description as well. So your resume can sell I am, I do, I help. And so a lot of resumes are I do, I do, I do, I do. Then we're running to put I help on there. Now we want to say, well, why don't we sell the I do a little bit as well? And so there's your options. List them at the end. You can see Kim's to see how he has sprinkled them through and how he uses that to accomplish results.
Second, Harry, we will share the screen and let you see that. Let's see here. Here we go. So where am I going? Where do you want me to show? Oh, about section. Huh? So you can see here, he's got a lot of skills list. I mean, this is the biggest field on LinkedIn. Use it. Number one, most important thing is have this on here, phone number and email address, because anybody can see that. If I wasn't connected with Kim, I wouldn't be able to see his contact information. Come on, contact information. You don't get to see that if you're not a first degree connection, but because he's got it down here in his about section, anybody can reach out to him. And then core marketing skills, domain experience, specialized skills. list those things. Listen, nobody's going to sit there and read it, but yet it's going to pop up if somebody does a search and they put in brand management or they put in corporate responsibility. It will show, it will pop up there as a keyword search if a recruiter was to do that. Any other comments? Anything else you want me to show them? No? Okay. All right.
If I could ask a follow-up question on there that I'm having problems with the last 2 work experiences. I don't have an official company to assign them, so I get the generic kind of pasty green pastel background that pops up when you don't actually have an image. Is there a way around that? Is there a way that you can get an image in there rather than having that kind of default background? I hope I'm explaining myself.
Well, let me pop your profile back up here again. Let's see here. All right, so you're talking to see the last 2, what? Schlemmerzite? No.
So if you go to the top, scroll back up to the top, just keep going, keep going, keep going. There. So you see that kind of, well, that's sort of like a gray square with a couple of bluish columns. So that's because the company that I worked at was since taken over and became something else, but I don't want to say that I worked at what the new company became. I want to say that it was the old company, but there is no company listing for that old company anymore. And so a logo doesn't get pulled up automatically when I put that in a work experience.
So what I would do is go ahead and list the company's name, and the very first line here, put down Katie Communications acquired by AVC Technology in 2008. And then you're showing the current logo. I mean, that's the only way to do it. You can't pop a logo in there because it goes and looks out at companies that are out there. So
yeah, it's kind of like almost you have to create a dare I say a dummy company page or a placeholder company page just so that you can kind of grab the logo.
Right. Yeah, that's true. But yeah, I'd go ahead to see here. What's the name of the?
And that's just that one is just a placeholder to show that I'm looking for those kind of jobs, right? I think that was the early discussion. So that's not a job. It's a I'm seeking opportunities.
I'm writing your name down so I can use your profile in 2 weeks.
Get me some leads.
It's just a bunch of pharmacy people down in 2 weeks.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, great. Yeah. Develop. How can I help your company grow? Yeah. Perfect. All right. There'll be one of them right here. Yeah. So there's nothing you can do for this generic.
Yeah.
Like I said, I would just, since you got to put this little comment in here, I would just go in and say acquired by, the name of the company and just pop in their logo.
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
William, you're in charge of miking now.
Yeah, I think the only way it'll grab the logo is if you list it as the company. So I would use the new one and then put in parentheses, formerly or previously so-and-so company. If you're very particular about having the logo show.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Thanks.
Okay. What else can we mention for somebody? Alan Burnett, do you want to give us your 30-second introduction? Tell us who you are.
Can y'all hear me? Yes.
Please.
So again, Alan Burnett. I am in the Atlanta area, and I specialize in help. I enjoy helping others, and also taking care of people and things. I guess I'd say I enjoy taking care of people and things. Sorry. And my past experiences in facility management and also logistics, but woven in my entire career has been with customer service customer support and building relationships with the client. Again, Alan Burnett.
Great. I didn't realize it was the same one as the video. I just thought it was somebody else who was online, and I'm looking at all the little icons here. Sorry about that. How about you want to give us your 30-second introduction? Sue Dabrowski. Hello, Sue. How about Steve Rohan? Steve, you want to give us your 30-second introduction? Sue must be applying online. That was a joke in here. There's Steve.
Yeah, right. That's a joke. Okay. I'm retired and still trying to keep involved with the various technical things. I'm a programmer by experience, and but I'm not looking for a job right now. I'm sort of in retired mode at this point.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Thank you for joining us. Steve always joins us like first one up to make sure our audio works. That's great. Pam Gaines, do you want to tell us who you are? Hello, Pam. No? How about Rosanna? You want to give us your 30-second introduction? Rosanna.
Sorry, Jeff. Good morning again, everybody. All right. Well, again, my name is Rosina Goldman. I am seeking a remote senior talent acquisition consultant position, otherwise known as a senior recruiter. And I'm looking in the CPG, BPO, or hospitality industry, or I'm looking to transition my skills into basically doing a career change and transitioning into the career management centers at any of our local colleges and universities. Again, Rosina Goldman, Senior Talent Acquisition Consultant.
Would help if you could hear me again. Scott, can you hear me? You want to give your 30-second introduction?
Sure. I signed on the second time because the other one I'm on no microphone. So good afternoon, everybody. Scott Boudreau. Well, I guess it's morning for you guys.
Yeah,
I'm Scott Boudreau, certified planning inventory management, looking for a supply chain job in central New Jersey or remotely, specializing in inventory control or production planning. If it has a part number, I can manage it. If it doesn't, I'll create one. Scott Boudreau.
Scott, thank you very, very much. All right, well, what else can we answer for somebody? What else? Questions, comments? Job search issues? No, nothing? All right, yeah, let's. Yes.
Do you consent? Well, you got to consent to it, I guess. So.
Is it okay to show this or not? All right, so I guess I just click here and we'll see what happens. Or click somewhere. View.
Great costume. Looks like you deserve a vote. See ya, boys.
Hold on a second. Hold on. Let's see here. Here we go.
Lily, are you good to go?
Yes.
One word that you would use to describe yourself.
Responsible.
What's the biggest unlearning the past year has taught you?
It is okay to let go of the desire for perfectionism when objectives are still going to be met. And very often it helps to be more efficient.
If you had to do one do-over in your life, what would you do over?
I would have started my career in cybersecurity much earlier.
What's the one life motto that you live by?
Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. And this is from Sir Winston Churchill.
How would your colleagues, ex-colleagues, describe you?
Reliable. One of my supervisors in a previous position responded by saying, I know I can rely on you, when I asked him what input he would give to the hiring manager for a different position, because I informed him that I was interested in moving to another role within the organization.
Thanks for your time, Lily.
Thank you.
All right, so that's Lily's thing. It's right there. So, you know, if you want, so here's the link. If you're interested, here's a link you can go to. You'll see it right here, where you can do a standout in 90 seconds. So that's on Lily's profile here. Very interesting thing.
Yeah, please do tell Ashwin Krishnan that you went to him because you watched mine and I sent you to him.
So my question is, did you know what the questions were before he asked them? Take the mic, hold on. Can't speak without a mic in front of your face.
I don't know how he does it now, but I was one of the first ones, like, you know, before he started charging, I guess. My mentor in this new profession introduced me to him, and I must have been one of the last ones he did for, like, you know, for trial. And he sent me around 20 questions, I think. So I had a vague idea of, just didn't know which ones he would ask me.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you were able to prepare.
Right. Oh, I could have come up with some of them, the reliable, responsible, and responsible is at the top of my strengths finder. So that wasn't hard. But
Right.
yeah, but the Winston Churchill and those, I'm not sure it would have been. And by the way, it's debatable whether Dr. Winston, Sir Winston Churchill spoke that. It's controversial, but it's a good one, a good motto.
Lily, I really liked your answer on reliable because you followed it up with my manager told me or this experience, and you drove it home and not just said I'm reliable and dropped it off. So I think that was very, very positive.
And I think you need to remember that when you go for an interview, it's the same thing. You want, it's not, well, I think I'm reliable, but this is what my manager has told me in the past. That makes a big, big difference. Big, big point. All right, anything else we can answer for anybody, or is everybody's mouth watering for hot cinnamon rolls and pizza? Anybody else? Anything? Anybody online? Any questions anybody has? Questions, comments? Anybody online going to join us for lunch? No. All right. All right. Well, let me just share a few more slides and we will get out of here today. Let's see here. If you have not put your 30 introduction in the chat window, please do so. That way we know, can make sure we get you added to the mailing list. Career DFW, Career USA, we're putting on training 4 days a week. Please join us next Tuesday. Kurt Vondermatter will be with us. A very interesting presentation. If you've never seen Kurt's presentation, on LinkedIn from a recruiter's eye. Kurt spends the big bucks for the full-blown recruiting package, and he will show us what it looks like in the back end. So when he's typing in a job, a job title, a couple keywords that he's trying to find, he'll show us what that looks like on Tuesday. Next Wednesday, the practice interview team will be online. You'll be able to watch an actual practice interview. It'll be on Zoom only. It will not be recorded. So if you do need to watch, if you'd like to watch it, come watch it live. And listen, watching an interview is it's not as good as being interviewed, but you will learn things because you will watch somebody else do something and say something, and you'll remember it'll make a big difference. Next Thursday, second Thursday of the month, we'll talk all about networking. And this just a reminder, this session has been recorded. You will be able to go back and watch it on the Career DFW Facebook page or the Career USA YouTube channel. On the Career USA YouTube channel, click on playlist. I have over 540 or 550 videos that are currently up there right now. Just pick the list you want. If you happen to pick the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group speakers, down where it says view full playlist, up will come a list of all the different dates and topics and titles. You can go back and watch any of those at your wish. It will take a couple hours for this to be uploaded. This one may not get uploaded till around dinner time tonight before it gets where you can see it, but I will put the link for it in the email that I put out this afternoon. Come join us today, Mama's Pizza, 2130 West Parker Road in Plano. Pizza buffet, pasta, salad bar, hot cinnamon rolls. It's delicious. So thank you for joining us, everybody. Have a great weekend. I guess everybody, if you live in the DFW area, you need to pull out your sweaters and long pants and jackets because it'll be only high in the 70s tomorrow, 72 for a high. So, we're going to be freezing our butts off here in Dallas. So have a great weekend, everybody, and we'll see you next week.